back again. This time we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, mostly just because I haven't watched The Legend of Korra, though I heard it's good. And as you can probably hear, hopefully, there's more 17 minutes of relaxing ukulele music, which I think fits. So, I just want to say, I freaking love Avatar: The Last Airbender, and like how much more popular it's gotten since like it reached Netflix in like March or April, cause like oh my gosh, I've loved that series since like the fifth grade, right? And now I get to like talk about it with people who I didn't know really liked it either, but like now can share with that stuff, and oh, it's just so awesome, it's so great, cause like you know um, you know how like when Endgame came out, it was like or when Infinity War came out, it was like, yo, you also like Marvel? No way, I like Marvel. That's how I really feel like, cause I didn't really like realize like yo, people are really like banging out with me with the freaking jam that Avatar is. So just get that out of the way. Avatar is great. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend watching it. So other stories related to this, I'll just give you a summarization just to get the context. Avatar: The Last Airbender, people got magic, but it's like bending elements, which is fire, air, water, and earth. Those four elements are like their form of magic. They can like manipulate it and stuff. Except for firebenders. Firebenders can like create their element, right? They can like create fire, whereas airbenders move air, waterbenders move water, earthbenders move earth. And I was reading this awesome essay about it, like not essay, but it was like slideshows on Instagram, right? And it's about how like firebenders, because of their ability to create their own energy, it makes sense for them to be the industrialized type, right? You have also people who don't create like their own huts or buildings out of this like their element, right? Airbenders have the ability to like move stone and like I don't know whatever, like reach high places. Earthbenders can just create their own homes with earth. Waterbenders can create ice homes and stuff, and you can see that in like the Earth Kingdom, Ba Sing Se, all these other places, southern and northern water tribes, and the air temples way up in the mountains, right? But you have the Fire Nation, right? And they don't have the ability to create their own homes using their own power, right? So instead, they have like their industrial. They focus on tech and other things like that, like air blimps, right? Unseen technology, artillery, right? Cannons, or not cannons, more like tanks, and that are powered by their firebending, and all these other cool things that are using their ability to basically create energy that results in like their huge leap in technology that leaves them in this powerful nation. And let's talk about an interesting piece: the propaganda used in the Fire Nation, right? Very like Nazi Germany-esque. When you think about how like Jews were scapegoats in like the in the World War II, right after the effects of World War One on Germany, Hitler rises to power under the whole like, oh, it's the Jews' fault, right? You have that, but instead of like in order to return to Germany's former greatness, it's the Fire Nation spreading their greatness to the rest of the world, right? They have all this advanced technology. We're going to make you Fire Nation in order for you to see how great the Fire Nation really is. And I just think that's interesting in the intro as well. They have that orderly march, right? The helmets that conceal their eyes and stuff, and their face, and like dehumanizes them. But then you see in the rest of the series, yo, these guys are not these guys are like the Avatar Nazis, right? But like they're like human people who are just following orders, which is an interesting piece about psychology, right? If somebody is in a position of authority and they tell you, hey, do this, we are very likely to comply, to be obedient, because that is the nature of authority and like following that. So that's a remark from Nazi officers being asked, why did you commit these war crimes? And like soldiers saying, I was just doing what I was told, or I was just following orders. So that's interesting. Fire Nation is a interesting allusion to, fascism and like propaganda and all this other stuff. Now, more lighthearted, I love airbending. Airbending is probably my favorite element. I'm gonna share why, right? So, you got like, I wish it was, I haven't, again, watched The Legend of Korra, and I probably should because there's more airbending in it, but the stuff that Aang can do, I was reading these other, like, clips, you know his glider, he has he's a glider that he uses to fly, and this ability is unseen in the rest of Avatar, right? Except for, The Legend of Korra, I've heard. So, the actual mechanics of his thing are incredible. They don't show it, but inside his little, like, staff, right, like, you know, maybe a yard long or two, inside his staff there are little, like, wings, right, and he uses air bending in order to activate the wings. Basically it's hollow inside, so he, like, you know, shoo, pushes the wind through the hollow inside, expands the wings, and uses the air bending behind him to, you know, move the currents in order to, you know, lift him up. That makes sense, right? But the idea that his airbending actually activates the inside, that's crazy. I wish I knew about that, because that's such an interesting thing. Like, what if somebody else made it something related to that, right? You bonk it down, push some air through it, or maybe like a little buzzer that, you know, moves some kind of fan mechanism that then ejects that out, right? Wouldn't that be neat? So, I just think that's a really interesting, another type of, like, of benders using their abilities in their like, you know, technology, right? The amount of world building that goes into Avatar is just, oh my gosh, I wish I could aspire to that kind of, like, creativity. So, one more thing, Uncle Iroh, he's another great character. I was watching this essay on Iroh's definition of masculinity, and oh my god, okay, so, like, the Fire Nation, like, they're very, toxic and, like, basically, like, value strength overall, especially in the royal family, right? Uncle Iroh is a part of the royal family, and he took Zuko under his wing, and is like, hey, don't listen to those fools, toxic masculinity ain't it, and he teaches him, hey, it's okay to, it ended, it's okay to be, like, you know, it's okay to ask for help or to get help from others. And Iroh's whole, like, lesson on that, I want to link down below. It's a video from Hello Future Me. I highly recommend checking it out. So thank you. That's all.